All right. Hello, everyone. I hope everybody's having a wonderful Wednesday. My name is Aura Vasquez, and I am your weekly host of Aura's BTH, which stands for Virtual Town Halls. I started streaming live a while back, first on Facebook, to really give a space for the movement and all the people doing amazing work that live around me, a space for them to share what they do and who they are, share their ideas, and share their hope and vision for our world. So this is why I host these weekly live streams, and I hope that you find them as informative and as enjoyable and as educative as I do. Today, I am with the presence of Mel, who is the founder of the Shower of Hope, and I'm waiting for him to actually join me. And we can ask him questions. This is one of my favorite organizations because we all know how hard it's been to see our fellow neighbors sleeping on our streets every night. We all know, especially in cities like New York, Chicago, LA, we all know how our homelessness crisis keep rising. And we know that every day we see actually more people living in the streets. And in a world where we are, um, you know, the one of the richest countries in the world, is inhumane to keep seeing this type of behavior as almost normalized in our society. So I wanted to invite Mel, and I just really waiting for him to join us, to have a conversation with him about his experience with our unsheltered community, with the solutions that he's bringing about to our community that are so important, and how he is fighting homelessness right now, one shower at a time. So his organization is the Shower of Hope. I know that maybe some of you have seen him around in our, in our community, and it's only so many times that I get to interview and talk to friends and people that I deeply admire. So bear with us, and when Mel join us, we can have a conversation about what his project is about. But if you guys have questions about the Shower of Hope, homelessness, our current crisis, please post it in the comment. Let us know what is your take, and what's your take on homelessness today. Have you experienced yourself a situation where you have been maybe couch surfing, sleeping in someone's couch, or one check a paycheck away from being homeless? We know that homelessness is something that can happen to just anyone. That there's a lot of our unhoused neighbors that don't have the support that they need to get off the streets. That they are people that have mental illness, that they are, at least where I live in District 10 in Los Angeles, which is in the heart of Los Angeles. It's a very diverse community. There are 15% of our unsheltered community is veterans. And that's a real shame that we have people that have served our country and that have gone out to other places to fight for us, and yet they don't have a safe and a stable place to call home. We know that in Los Angeles, about 40% of the people living in our streets are African Americans. And that is something for us to also take a look at and understand why. Why is this affecting certain communities more than others? This is not a something that just happens. This is a systemic issue that we need to address, and that we must also embrace and learn to understand. That the idea that we want things to disappear is not going to work. That things are not just going to go away. Homelessness is not just going to go away. the rising cost of housing in Los Angeles and any metropolitan city is making it nearly impossible for people to live in urban settings. It's also causing a huge environmental issue, because if you have to live away and if you have to commute and drive in 30, 50, 60 miles every day each way, that is all that greenhouse gas emissions, and all of those emissions are affecting the people living in metropolitan cities. So this is something for us to think about, that homelessness is not just a homogeneous issue. It has so many layers. And we, as people that are involved, that care, that want to see a better future for our future generations, we must address this issue in humane ways, and also in ways that make sense. For me, it has always been about addressing the root cause, which is the high cost of living, and the fact that for the past 25 years, we have not really had an adjustment on the minimum wage, but until recently, where we have been fighting for a $15 an hour minimum wage. So this is really important. I'm still waiting for Mel. As soon as he jumps in, we can have a conversation with him. But if you guys have any facts about homelessness or any experience, please share with the rest of us. This is a forum for us to share our ideas and our own experiences, and to also ask questions. So if you guys have any questions about homelessness right now, please be sure to post them in the comments so that we can address them with Mel when he joins us in the live stream. So I hope everybody's having a great day. And let me see if I can catch Mel somewhere. All right, and we're back. I'm just waiting for Mel to join us in this conversation about the shower of hope and homelessness. So I hope that you guys have your questions ready, and that you can share with us some of your experiences about homelessness. And I mean, I think the first question that I wanted to ask to the broader community is, how do you see us addressing homelessness? What are some of the things that you think that our government or ourselves should be doing in order to address our current unhoused community issue? So if you have any opinions, or if you want to share questions, please drop them in the comments. I can bring them in on the live stream. I believe Mel is coming in on the live stream, and he will be letting us know more about his work and what he is doing. So please post your comments and post your questions and your comments on the comments here, and I will be sure to share them with Mel when he has a moment. But yeah, I couldn't be more excited to really have a conversation with Mel right now about this, and share with him a little bit about my own impressions about homelessness and how he's addressing homelessness himself. So I hope you guys can participate further and share. And I think something that would be really cool if you guys can help us is spread the word right now and share some of the things that you have experienced yourself regarding, our unsheltered community. Specifically, we will be talking about this in Los Angeles. So I was sharing earlier that in my area, 15% of the unhoused community are veterans, and 40% of them are also African Americans. In my area, there is only one shelter, one bridge housing for the whole area that I live in. So it's super important that as we think about homelessness, we think about all of the resources. And look, we're in the middle of a pandemic where there's so much uncertainty. People have lost their jobs. People have gone sick. Small businesses have closed. Folks in the service industry have gone, we have made them do the impossible. So I really would like to see the next stimulus money coming in and really making sure that it also helps prevent homelessness. We still don't have a rent cancellation policy in Los Angeles. So for a lot of people that don't have work and have to pay the rent, they have to decide whether they have to eat or they can pay rent. We still don't have mortgages cancellations. So a lot of people that work so hard to buy a home and lost their work are on the verge of being homeless as well. And the reality is that $1,200 stimulus is not enough. We are pushing almost a year in the pandemic. And if you guys cannot see the correlation between that and also how this is going to cause more homelessness, I don't know. I can't help you. We can put people back to work if we invest in more, renewable energy and housing that is affordable for folks, and making sure that there is a safety net for people when it comes to housing, which is the number one cause of why people end up living in the streets, and mental illness. So it couldn't be more important right now that we invest in our communities and we invest in making sure that people can afford where they live, and that people can also, and that people can have just a fair shot, a fair chance of living a prosperous life. I think we all deserve that. It's the bare minimum that we can have. So I really hope that when Mel comes in next, we can have a candid conversation with him about homelessness. And he's messaging me that he's trying to get in and he has some sort of issues with his connection, but he's going to join us anytime. But in the meantime, I want to take this moment to really express some of the things that I think about homelessness and why homelessness is happening today. The other thing is that homelessness has been with us for so long, for centuries. It's kind of part of life, and even though it has a spike and become more of the population have been affected by being homeless, we also have a moral duty and a political duty, in a way, to make sure that our neighbors have a safe place to call home, and just a place to call home. For a long time, we have been building luxury development that has been pushing people out to the streets, and that is not the way. Because when one thrives, we all thrive. And I think it's important for us to remember that that housing is a fundamental human right. And from that baseline, we should all know that having people sleeping on the streets is not normal, and it shouldn't be something that we just kind of disregard because it just happens. This is an issue that is affecting all of us. When we have people in encampments, when we have people that are homeless sleeping in our streets and not having a proper place to use the restroom, they don't have proper nutrition. We are in a pandemic. We are in the middle of a pandemic, and the bare minimum that we can do for people is provide them with a safe or just like a place to go. We have tons of hotels that are closed right now in Los Angeles that have not been utilized, that we could be utilizing to home our unsheltered folks. There are efforts every day, to make sure that they have a warm meal. I know organizations like K-Town for All, that they have been incredible advocates for more services and less sweeps. Every time our city comes and takes everything away, and I'm totally open to have a conversation about this right now, every time, people lose their medicines, people lose their IDs, people lose the little things, belongings that they have. And we need to do better than that. We need to also have more funding for people that are specialized on dealing with folks that are sleeping in our streets every night, and not per se the police. So that's also extremely important. We have, I just need to come back to this topic about luxury development versus affordable housing. And when I talk about affordable housing, I talk about affordable housing for the people that live in the area where they're at. Not like affordable housing in South LA where only people in other places can afford to move there, because that's causing gentrification, and that's displacing people, and that's also throwing people on the streets, in families and such. So this couldn't be more important, and I want to leave you guys with this message. I'm not sure if Mel is going to be able to join us tonight, but if not, we will have him coming up at another time. It's been great to have this conversation with you guys. Thank you. Thank you for supporting the Shout of Hope, and thank you for always tuning in on Wednesdays. It's been more than a year since we kind of have these Wednesdays 5 p.m. dates where we talk about different issues that affect our community. So I want to be, so grateful about, your support and just like have you part of this broader community. You guys come in, you guys share your thoughts, and we have these really amazing conversations every time. So I'm excited to have this conversation. I think it shouldn't be more poignant right now. I don't know what's going on. Somebody call Mel and let him know that I'm waiting for him, please. And to have this conversation here. But if anything, for my Instagrammers, please join me on YouTube. My YouTube channel is in the link in bio, because I'm going to have to log off and go and hunt down Mel. You can also join me on Twitch. My Twitch account is also in there. And yes, we use house, but that's a different acronym, and it's being used a little different. Reject. I've been talking about that, and you're just joining right now. So thank you for saying that. Absolutely. So please go to my YouTube channel, or go to, for the people on Instagram, go to my YouTube channel, my Twitch channel, and then I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. All right, friends. So now let's get Mel in here. Let's just wait and see if he's going to join us. If not, we'll have him another time. and we have a conversation with him at another time. But please, somebody tag Mel and let him know that we are waiting for him here, and we have been waiting actually for 20 minutes. So I'm just glad that you guys enjoy my commentary, and that's also important. So hello and welcome everyone. Hello, if you want to post some stuff on the comments, it will be incredible if you guys can ask questions to Mel, but I don't think Mel is going to be able to join us. I can see him here, but I don't see him here. So Mel, I don't know if you can hear me, but I don't know how to help you. So we're just waiting for Mel to join us in the live stream, and I'm just going to read some of the comments that I have been seeing here that I have not been able to talk about. So homelessness wasn't a word until Ronald Reagan became president. Okay, interesting, great, excellent. I don't know if we can see you. Hi, Mel, welcome. I don't think we can hear you or see you. I think we might have to reschedule this and have you on another time, maybe next year. I see you trying to come in, but it's not really working. There you are. Hi, welcome.
So sorry, Aura, and so sorry to everybody who's watching. Just having some data issues right now, so apologize.
Hi, Mel. How are you doing?
Not bad since I got this connection up and running again.
And where are you right now? I know we've been waiting for you for like 24 minutes. So
I'm in my vehicle. I tried driving around a bit to get a better connection, so I'm actually coming live from my car.
Got it. So we wanted to have a conversation with you. Sadly, I had to end the Instagram live because, in any case, you're here. So tell us a little bit about the Shower of Hope.
So the Shower of Hope is pretty much an organization that is based upon giving showers to the homeless in LA. As everybody knows, we see homeless people everywhere. And what a lot of people don't understand is that while these people have access to food and other clothing and other necessities, something that they don't have access to, something very basic, is showers. And when we think of a shower, we think of something that's so accessible to us that we have every day, and for some of us even twice a day. But when you're living in a tent, when you're living on the corner of a street, and especially during a pandemic when there's no gyms open, a shower is literally impossible to have. So what we do and what we have been doing before COVID is we have 9 mobile shower trailers. We have 24 locations throughout the county of LA. And we set up these community hubs where people can come in, get a shower, and get other services as well.
That's amazing. And how did this project came about? Like, what inspired you to do something like that? Like, how did someone goes from like, we have an unhoused neighbor or we see unhoused folks every day on our streets, I'm going to start a shower, a shower service for people. How did that process came about?
So we actually had an organization called Monday Night Mission where we used to go to Skid Row since 2011. And it came to a point, literally within 2011, at the end of 2011, we were going to Skid Row 5 nights a week. And while we were going to Skid Row, we had a huge amount of donors, we had a huge amount of volunteers. And something we realized was, especially, even when you look at even 3 years ago, there was not a lot of services available outside of Skid Row for the unhoused community. So what we thought was, how do we create more services? But how do we center it around something that's very essential, but that's not easily accessible. And I saw a video of another organization doing mobile showers, and just started with some of our volunteers, and we thought we were going to give it a shot, and here we are.
Amazing. And when did you started this project? When
So we
around did you
started
have
doing.
it?
So we started the mobile showers in May of 2017.
Mm-hmm. So it's been like
That was
3 or 4 years.
Yeah, 3.5 years. We started with one shower trailer. We literally thought that we were going to use this one mobile shower trailer on the weekends, but the demand was so high. And not just the demand, it's sad, but what's fascinating to see is the change you see in people once they take a shower. And I'm talking about people who haven't showered for weeks, haven't showered for months. We've even come across individuals who haven't showered in 6 months. And among
Wow.
those people who haven't have access to, the thing is, among those people we haven't had access to showers, we've come across people who are women who have to undergo menstrual cycles. And
Oh,
and within that, we also see people who are suffering from severe health issues, who
wow.
who have gaping wounds, but never had access to a shower. So to see these people not have access to a shower, walk into our trailer, walk into a stall, take a shower, come out, and to see how happy they are, to see them look in a mirror, to see them combing their hair, to see themselves after they've had a shave. It's sad that it's so fascinating in a city like LA, but that simple shower makes a huge difference in these people.
Yeah, absolutely. So for example, if for the people that are listening, and I know that there's a lot of folks that were at the beginning, and we have another wave, and I hope that folks can come back and watch, you speak. How can people get involved in supporting your efforts? So, what is the best way for someone to support you right now, or support Shower of Hope? I should say better.
So thank you for asking that. So, the easiest way is to find us at the showerofhope.org, on Facebook at the Shower of Hope, or on Instagram at the Shower of Hope. And people can get involved with just volunteering on the weekends, to
Mhm.
even some people we have who help us in different ways. Some people help us by helping us with social media, and then of course for the people who want to donate, that helps keep us running.
How expensive it is to run the Shower of Hope when you go. So let me see if I understood you correctly. So you guys have your trailer and you pick an area, right? You work with members of the community and you go to an area. So what's the cost to make sure that you can bring the trailer to, and how many people can be benefited from the shower when you have it out in the community?
So it's actually nine mobile shower trailers now. And when we look at the cost, it's unfortunate that the city and the county of LA don't have permanent bathrooms, but because we don't have permanent bathrooms, one
Mhm.
of our most higher costs is the transportation piece, because the trailers are anywhere from 8 to 12,000 pounds, and it's the transportation, it's the insurance that is a significant cost. And then on the other side of it, we need trained staff members to be able to provide these showers. And what I mean by trained staff members is, what our staff members do is literally the frontline work, because they're working with people who could have COVID, or who might even have COVID, and you know they're working with people who are very vulnerable with mental
Mhm.
illnesses, who don't really, who are not who an untrained person doesn't know how to work with. So the second part of our costs come in with the staffing, and at each site we have anywhere from 2 to 3 staff members.
I see. So basically, transporting the truck with the water and making sure that the water is collected somewhere and then putting the water that is, great water somewhere. So And these are the things that sometimes we don't think about when we think about a simple shower, because for a lot of
You
us
know,
that, go ahead.
you no, that's a really good point that should come up with, because when you think of any normal operation, you have a fixed building where all the connections are set.
Yeah,
When it's a mobile shower operation, every location we go to every week, we pretty much have to do those connections. They're not as heavy as like heavy workload as like permanent connections, but still, like from hoses to electricity and setting up tables, setting up like hygiene. And that's another thing too, because the people we serve don't have soap, don't have shampoo, they barely have enough clothes on their back.
right.
So it's also a matter of us providing towels, soap, shampoo, razors, feminine hygiene products, just anything you and me would need to take a shower. So all of that takes time, and that takes staffing, labor.
Yeah, yeah. It takes a lot of manpower to kind of, but for something so simple. What has been the reaction from our elected officials, from like I mean, the voters, at least in Los Angeles, approved $1.5 billion to address homelessness. We yet to have housing. I think recently, this year, we had a few units, a handful, less than 50 units for homeless, for unhoused folks. Um, what has been the response from our local government in terms of supporting an effort like yours, which is so important, not just because it's a human, is is the right moral thing to do, but also because it's a public health issue. I mean, we're in a pandemic, and if and whether and let's say we were not in the middle of COVID-19 and a pandemic. I mean, people need to use the restroom. This is just like our fundamental, like the most basic necessity that humans have. So I want to hear like what has been the take in our government? How have they been supportive, or what is their take?
It's been a mixed reaction. We do have the elected officials, like Council Member Gil Cedillo, who was supporting us from before, who has expanded his support. And then we do have certain, elected officials who are still resistant against homeless services coming into their neighborhoods. And,
Mm,
we still have this whole, population of elected officials who cater to the people, the NIMBYs, who say, no, I don't want homeless in my backyard.
mhm.
And it's difficult because, like the point you said, like, with COVID, it removed most of the bathroom access. Like, when you look at the homeless population, the truth is a lot of our homeless people were going to Starbucks cafes, to regular cafes, to restaurants, sneaking into the
McDonald's,
bathrooms.
things like that.
Now with COVID, all of those resources are closed off. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, I was just thinking, like, this week I went up to Palmdale, and driving through, if you want to use the restroom, it's not like before, because now you really have to look for a restroom. But this is coming from a person. I have a place to stay. We have an office. I have other places to go to. But if you're living on the street and you wake up in the morning and you have to urinate, you really don't have a place to go.
Or
And
let's say you
it's
eat something bad. I mean, like again, folks that are watching, this is something that sometimes we don't think about. But our unsheltered community, it's not like they can go and cook a meal when they want it, or like wake up and I'm gonna have cereal and milk or whatever it is that your regular breakfast is. They kind of have to adapt to whatever they have. So say that they get sick. It's, like, I mean, water is the most basic thing that someone can have, So, I mean, I don't know if you can maybe share some testimonials or some stories about people that have gone through your program and take advantage of your services.
just going back to what you just about said about bathroom access. I remember talking to one individual, and he was homeless and he had food poisoning, and he
Hmm.
was crying, and I'm like, you're going to get better. But what he told me is, it's not that I'm going to get better. He's like, Mel, think for a second how hard it is if you have food poisoning, if you have diarrhea, to have access to a toilet, to have access to a bathroom. When you're homeless, all these problems get completely eclipsed by the fact that you don't have access to your basic resources.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when when COVID happened, I there was one lady who shared with us and said, hey, like, you know everybody took all the toilet paper. We don't have access to toilet paper, which was one of the basic things that we had before. So
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to homeless individuals, it's just it you know we really take a lot of things for granted. Like,
Yeah.
I wake up in the morning, my shower and my bathroom is 8 feet away, and you don't think about it. But when you're a human being living on on the street, not having access to that robs them of their dignity.
Yeah.
Because it's one, having the having the humiliation of having to you go to the restroom on the side of the road. And for, specifically for women, the violence it exposes them to, right? If you're a female and you're using the restroom on the side of a road, or if it's at night, it exposes you to a lot of violence.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, you know not having a shower or access to a shower, like, think a day in summer when it's 100 degrees, you're sweating, and you can smell yourself after a few hours. But if you're a person on the street and you haven't had access to a shower for days, for weeks, you start to stop associating your friends, because you don't want them to you don't want them to smell you, right? You stop associating your family. um, how would you ever go to a job interview? We just recently had a woman named Debbie who got hired into a managerial position, and
Mm-hmm.
she said, the biggest thing I got was being able to go to work after taking a shower. My employers never knew that I was homeless, because I was coming to the Shore of Hope showers to take a shower before work. She would
Wow.
just drive in the morning, take a shower, go to work. And she actually introduced me to her boss, her employer, and she told him in front of me, hey, just so you know, my employer didn't know that I was homeless, because I had access to a shower. But for the people who don't have access to a shower, how will they ever be able to go to work, or let alone work? How will they ever be able to go to an interview to get work?
Absolutely. And I think you're pointing to such an interesting situation that we're having now. A lot of folks think that homelessness or being unsheltered is just being on drugs and roaming around and being violent and stealing, and there are people like who you are mentioning that work but cannot afford a home. They cannot afford a house where they can pay rent, so they have to choose between paying rent and or paying for an apartment or a home. And this is why so many folks sleep in their car, because they don't have, it's housing in Los Angeles is increasingly more expensive every day, and it's pushing people to the streets.
You bring up a good point, because when we think of LA, and right now with COVID, we all think of us having a eviction moratorium, at least temporarily. But
Yeah.
what that doesn't cover is, like I was for a long time, there's a lot of people in LA who live renting a room. And I remember, like 10 years ago, I was renting rooms without even a verbal agreement. And an
Yeah.
eviction moratorium doesn't cover that.
Yeah.
So those are the people who are working at, entry level jobs, working at grocery stores, at McDonald's. They're the people who
Lots
make
of them
sure we
are
are fed every
undocumented
day.
too.
And they're the, and what's sad is they're the people who make sure through this pandemic we're getting our food, but they work and they have to go home at night to their car and sleep in a car seat. It's really tragic because you really see how, like a huge number of people in LA who are working and sleeping in their vehicles.
Yeah, and also like Jacqueline is saying here, there is an overcrowding housing too, where multiple families live together because they cannot afford to live alone. So I'm so glad that we're talking about housing because this is such an important issue in terms of how folks end up sleeping on the streets and living on the streets. The other issue that we have, and I'm sure we're going to see this more amplified right now with COVID, is mental illness. There are a lot of folks that end up on our streets because we don't have Medicare for all. We don't have a way to have a healthy, a healthy way sometimes to deal with stress. There's tons of people living in our streets that have trauma. I was sharing earlier that 15% of the homeless in my district are veterans. 40% are African Americans. This is not figures that are just, this is something alarming. The fact that a group of people, especially Black African Americans, are more like affected by homelessness than everyone else is something for us to really think about what's going on. So I love that shower of hope is bringing a little help. It's not maybe the whole help for someone, but it just gives, like the very name of your effort, it gives them, hope. So
And what one thing we always mention, Aura, is, we want to make sure people understand that, at the Shower of Hope, we love what we do, but we are not ending homelessness. Ending
mhm,
homelessness starts with giving people homes. We're
yes,
providing a critical service, but we want to make sure people understand no matter how much you help organizations like us that provide auxiliary services, housing is something we still need and we will always need if we want to end homelessness.
yeah, absolutely. I also believe that you and I had a conversation about this once. I don't know if we're going to be able to eradicate homelessness because homelessness has been part of our society from the beginning of times, and I mean, we see more people, you know, sleeping on our streets, which is alarming. There are places in Los Angeles where you only see people sleeping on the streets. But addressing homelessness is going to require addressing income inequality, addressing racism, addressing the fact that, um, corporations get always the better part of our government that we do. And this is how it shows up. This is how, it looks like in every day. So I know we talked about how people can follow you, but earlier I asked you how much it costs because I would love to just have the people that are watching and the people that are going to be watching this show in the and later, maybe make a contribution for you and help you help more people that need a shower. So how can people donate? And like I founded a mutual aid called Ready to Help, and we do something called the food raising. And we know that with $40 we can feed a family because we partnered up with World Harvest, which is a food bank. So do you have that type of calculation that we can have maybe folks, maybe say, I'm down to donate 20, 50, $10, to make sure that somebody has a shower tomorrow?
When we look at our partnerships that we have and how we use those partnerships, leveraging some of that help, what it boils down to, each shower costs anywhere from $5 to $7.
Oh, wow, it's very affordable. I mean,
And when we
like,
when we say we are talking about a shower, aura, it's again important to understand that every person who comes in gets a towel, gets soap, gets shampoo. It's not just a shower; they get everything they need to take a shower. And in
mhm,
most cases, we provide all except for two. All of our sites we provide meals, clothing, and a lot of other services like mental health and substance abuse rehabilitation, which we use the showers to draw people into.
mhm,
So it is $5, $6, $7 per shower, but it's not just a shower a person's getting. It's a chance to come to one of our sites and connect to services.
Absolutely, and that's such a smart idea because I hear this often that sometimes our unsheltered neighbors don't want to go. You know, some of them might have mental illness, some of them might be thinking, I've been down this road before and these people have not helped me. But a shower, everybody needs a shower. So if you are watching right now, please go to the showerofhope.org. I'm assuming that there's a place there for us to donate.
Yes.
And $10 can help one of your neighbors take a shower. And just try and volunteer, try to donate whatever you can. Right now is the holiday season, and how wonderful it would it be to give someone the gift of shower. So I encourage everyone, and if you are watching and if you are planning to donate, put a little heart in the comments and let us know that you're going to donate for this cause that is so important, that is addressing homelessness one shower at a time.
And again, like you mentioned, we welcome everyone to volunteer. Just message us on social media and volunteer, because you can donate, but you can also give your time and actually see the people we are helping. So it's something that you can witness for yourself, that it's not just a shower, it's a whole experience. And
Yeah.
one thing we definitely do from our staff to our volunteers is we make sure that we treat people with dignity and respect.
Hmm.
And one of the things that is very important that we see lost in LA is that we've dehumanized these people.
Yeah.
And changing that starts with volunteers being there, smiling, making eye contact, learning people's names, creating connections. And you know it's easy to just give a shower, but to give a person an experience where they come in, they feel they're recognized, they feel they're respected, they feel they're loved, that is the goal, and that is always what we strive for.
Amazing. What is so hard, um, in your opinion, about doing this work? What do you think is I don't know if you can share a little bit about what is like the most heartbreaking thing about having this project in your opinion?
The difficult part of this is seeing individuals who have severe mental illnesses, who have you know other severe illnesses, and you know you start to see these people every day, every week, and
Hmm.
to see them in that position on the street, or even worse, to see them deteriorate over time,
Hmm.
that's difficult, because it's not just a person. When you get to know their name, when you get to know their story, and if they have a mental illness and you see them deteriorate every day, or if it's we come across a lot of individuals who have physical illnesses. This year we had to fight to get a person who had lung cancer into a program, and there are
Wow.
people who don't get into those programs. So when I remember when I the gentleman's name is Jason. I remember when he first told me that he had a tumor. It's just like you're listening to people going through hell,
Right.
and the reality is there's only so much you can do, and that's the difficult part. The difficult part is knowing that this city, this county, this state, this country has the money to fix the problem, but knowing that instead of fixing the problem, we're going to throw money everywhere else.
I know, and that's why earlier I was asking you what's been the response from our elected officials, because the controller a year ago released a report saying that housing for our unsheltered community was going to cost $500,000, $500,000. Your shower costs $10, not even. So yes, housing is the main thing to address homelessness. But in the meantime, while we'll figure it out not to spend $500,000 in housing for our unsheltered community, but something a little more affordable so we can house more folks. So we need to be able to provide people showers, because this is like the most fundamental, basic right and basic necessity that we can do. So um, I don't know if you
So
guys
you
have.
bring up a really good point, Aura. So when you ask about our elected officials and what we do, something that the city and county of LA is known for is paying exorbitant amounts of money on things that shouldn't cost that much. When you talk about housing, I mean, when that report came last year, it said each housing unit was costing an average of $571,000. And I'm pretty sure this year it's much higher. The truth is, there are alternate options available, like what we're doing with the female community college students. And what that is shared housing without looking at, hey, we're going to build, brand new apartment buildings for people that cost over $500,000. We have to look at shared housing because it's showing results. It's showing results fast, and
Mhm.
it's way more economical.
Yeah, absolutely. Share housing is another model that we can incorporate and that we're not incorporating, but I hope we will incorporate it at some point. I
And
see
that's
some,
up to our elected officials.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Again, like I feel like you nailed it earlier. We need a menu of different things, and what you guys bring to the table is not just water and soap. You bring services, you bring a door opening, you bring building a relationship with people that are going through a traumatic time in their life. So that's extremely important. I see some folks in saying in our comments that they're sending a donation right now, so that makes me very happy, because the main reason why I wanted to interview you, of course, is to share what you do, but also to make sure that you have the resources that you need, because it's a real shame that our elected officials are not fighting over supporting and making your program bigger and bolder. So it's sad, but we'll get there. There will be other elected officials in the future that are going to support you, and at least we have our community that can support you, in these difficult times right now. So definitely you can count on us. Any last thoughts before we go?
So that's what the whole our new program is about. So this year in September we started Hope Housing for Students, which is housing for male students between the ages of 18 to 26 who are homeless. These are kids going to community college. All
Mhm.
the kids at our first program go to East LA College.
Wow.
Um, Something that happened that was very tragic was when we started the program, males outnumber females in homelessness 4 to 1. So we started with a program just specifically for men. But in the
Oh,
last two
there's more
months,
homeless that are men than women for your
four
specific
to
program.
one.
Got it.
No, so in homelessness, it's 4 to 1. But
Uh-huh.
in the last 2 months, we've actually gotten more female applicants apply to our program than male applicants.
Interesting.
So what we're doing is in January, we're opening a second home. It's going to be for a minimum of 6 women. They'll be 18 to 26. They could be unhoused, or they could be in an unstable living situation. We
Mhm.
get a lot of our young people living on couch to couch, getting assaulted. So we're starting the second home in January, and to promote it, we have a challenge called the 6 for 6 challenge. And what that is we're asking to do people to do 6 push-ups, nominate 6 people, and if they can, donate $6 to the 6 for 6 LA challenge. It's on our website. It's also not just about fundraising. It's about making people understand that in your neighborhood, maybe in your friends apartments, there might be a person going to school crashing on a couch. There might be a girl living in a car down their street, but these are individuals who are homeless. But even through that struggle, they still have their hope that they're going to get an education and they're going to have a career.
Yeah.
So that's so we call it the 6 for 6 challenge because we're going to house a minimum of 6 women, and we're asking people to do 6 push-ups, donate $6. And Reggie, one of our supporters, said it best. Think that don't think you're just helping a person, and know that you're helping the future leaders of LA and the country. It could be the next Alexandria Ocasio Cortez, or um,
It could be the
Harriet
person
Tubman. That's
that is going to find the cure for COVID. Who knows? You know?
exactly. And and it's 18 to 26-year-old kids who are fighting to be stable, to have a future, and the least we can do is give them housing.
Absolutely, absolutely. You can definitely count on me. 646. So you can donate $6, do 6 pushes, tag 6 people, and let's keep the chain going so that we can have more hope and more showers of hope and more housing of hope for folks that really need it. Mel, thank you so much. This is our time. I'm so glad that you were able to join and share a little bit about who you are.
Thank you for having us on. You've always been a champion of our causes for the people, not just the Shower of Hope, but I see you championing so many people, from climate change to housing to healthcare for all. So I want to thank you for being such a champion for all of us who are fighting to push all these issues. So thank you for having me on.
And I want you to know that I'm running for delegate for the Democratic Party. And my hope that is when I become a delegate, we become a Democratic Party in California that supports more services like the ones that you're providing for our unsheltered community in Los Angeles. I know that this might sound like, what do they have anything to do with it? But we have a lot to do with it. So if we can require, our future elected officials to be more bold about homelessness, hopefully we can address homelessness in a better, mobile way.
I've known you for around 2.5 years, and I think you're one of the best organizers in LA. You made so much change with climate change. When you on the commission, and for any position from this to anything in the future, you have and you always will have my support, because you are one of the people that should be making the decisions for LA.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to try to push you more for the Shower of Hope and have more, support. And we're going to get through this, and COVID is going to go away. And this is a real opportunity for us to address homelessness in a better way. And hopefully, the Shower of Hope actually transform to something different, because then we will not have any more unsheltered folks in our streets anymore. So we'll see. I want to have you back, maybe doing push-ups with me or something like that, maybe on Instagram at some point, so we can educate folks in that other front, and that other, social media, to make sure that everybody can join us. So thank you so much. Keep doing what you're doing. Please, everyone that is watching, go to the Shower of Hope on social media, or go to the Shower of Hope on their website and make a little contribution. Sign up to donate, to volunteer. All is welcome.
Thank you, Aura, and thank you to everyone who donated. Thank you.
Have a great night, Mel. We'll talk soon.
Good night.
Good night. All right, you all. So I'm counting on you to go right now to the Shower of Hope and make a contribution with $6. We can shower a whole person, guys. That's amazing. $10. $10 wouldn't make a big dent for you. And if you haven't, please consider donating today, because this cause is so important. I'm so grateful that I'm able to support this cause, and I'm counting on all of you to help amplify, and tag your friends, tag 6 friends right now, and let them know that they need to do push-ups and they need to donate $6 for the Shower of Hope, which can bring so much support to our unsheltered community in Los Angeles. I hope everybody has a wonderful evening. I see you guys next Wednesday. It will be pre-holiday, so I have some special celebration for you guys. I will let you guys know. So stay safe, wear your mask, practice social distancing, stay home, y'all, and let's tackle this COVID in the best way that we can. Be positive, stay encouraged, and I see you guys all next week. Bye-bye.